Why does everyone keep recommending the same five sci-fi movies? Interstellar, Inception, The Matrix, we get it. You have a letterboxd account. But what about the real gems, the strange ones, the ambitious failures, the masterpieces that nobody saw? This list ignores the obvious picks. No District 9, no Children of Men, just 20 brilliant underrated sci-fi films from 2000 to 2025. Prepare to be angry, prepare to take notes. Here we go. Number 20, The Congress 2013. Picture this. Robin Williams in his final live-action role. Harvey Keitel, an animated dystopia that makes paprika look straightforward. The Congress opens in live action with an aging actress selling her digital likeness to a studio for eternal youth on screen. Then the film takes a hard left turn into pure psychedelic animation. Ari Folman spent 4 years making this after his Oscar-nominated Waltz with Bashir. The result bankrupted its distributor and confused every test audience. Robin Wright plays a fictionalized version of herself grappling with identity, ownership decades before the AI actor debate exploded. Half the film is rotoscope madness, the other half is brutal Hollywood satire. Critics either called it genius or unwatchable. There is no middle ground. The final act asks whether reality matters when experience feels real. Most viewers turned it off before finding out. That is their loss. Number 19, Pandorum, 2009. A spaceship horror movie that earned a 28 Metascore. 28. That number haunts director Christian Alvart to this day. Pandorum opens with 2 crew members waking from hypersleep with no memory of their mission. Their bodies ache. Their ship is falling apart. Something is breathing in the walls. Dennis Quaid and Ben Foster carry this nightmare through dark corridors and even darker revelations. The title refers to a psychological condition where deep space travelers lose their grip on reality. Paranoia, hallucinations, violence. The film builds 2 mysteries at once. What happened to the crew? And what is hunting our protagonists? The twist ending involves generations of survivors adapting to life aboard a dying Ark. It is smart. It is terrifying. It was buried by a studio that had no idea how to market existential dread. Watch this in a dark room with headphones. You will never trust a spaceship again. Number 18, AI Artificial Intelligence, 2001. Steven Spielberg made a Kubrick film. That sentence alone explains why audiences rejected AI artificial intelligence in 2001. Stanley Kubrick spent 15 years developing this project. He passed it to Spielberg believing the material needed a warmer touch. The result is a tonal contradiction. A robotic boy named David searches for the blue fairy so she can turn him into a real human child. He wants to earn his mother's love. The first hour plays like Pinocchio with uncanny valley dread. The final hour descends into underwater despair and a future where robots rule a frozen Earth. Haley Joel Osment delivers a performance that should haunt every parent who watches. Jude Law plays a robot gigolo with surprising dignity. The ending makes grown men cry and cynics roll their eyes simultaneously. Time has been kinder to this film than audiences were. It belongs in the conversation with Blade Runner. Not as an afterthought, but as a peer. Number 17, Robot and Frank, 2012. Frank Langella plays an aging jewel thief with memory problems. His son buys him a robot caretaker shaped like a white minimalist penguin. The robot cooks. The robot cleans. The robot reminds Frank to take his pills. Then Frank realizes something brilliant. The robot follows instructions without judgment. He can train it to help him rob the local library. Robot and Frank is a heist movie disguised as gentle indie drama. It is also the most honest depiction of aging ever put on film. Langella learned every lockpicking technique for real. The robot voice belongs to Peter Sarsgaard under heavy modulation. There are no explosions, no CGI armies. Just a retired criminal showing a machine how to crack a safe while his daughter tries to understand why he cannot stop. The film premiered at Sundance to standing ovations, then vanished from theaters within 2 weeks. Streaming saved it, but too late for awards consideration. Do not sleep on this one. Number 16, Other Life, 2017. Australia gave us this paranoid micro-budget masterpiece about a bioengineer who invents a liquid drug that compresses full alternate life experiences into 3 seconds of real time. Ren Amari wants to revolutionize prisons. Inmates would serve decade sentences inside their own heads without aging a day. Ethical nightmare, right? The government loves it. Then Ren becomes the test subject against her will. Other life traps her in a simulated reality that loops daily horrors designed to break her mind. The twist is that she cannot trust her own memories anymore. Is this the real world or another layer of programming? Director Ben C. Lucas shot this for under $2 million. It looks like $10 million. The lead actress, Jessica DeGao, performs terrified confusion, so convincingly you will check your own surroundings. This film does everything. Inception tried to do about dream doubt, but with a fraction of the budget and triple the paranoia. Seek it out before it disappears again. Number 15, Sunshine, 2007. Danny Boyle made a masterpiece, then immediately made a masterpiece. 28 days later, Sunshine. Two perfect genre films back to back. Nobody saw it the second one. Sunshine follows 8 astronauts carrying a nuclear payload to reignite Earth's dying sun. The visuals are jaw-dropping. The soundtrack by John Murphy and Underworld still makes YouTubers cry. Cillian Murphy plays the physicist who understands the mission's terrible math. Chris Evans, before Captain America, plays the engineer who punches problems. The film's first 2/3 are meditative and terrifying. Then a third-act twist introduces a villain that critics called a mistake. Here is the truth. That villain represents the sun's incomprehensible power. It is not a monster, it is obsession given human form. The ending, where our hero stares directly into a star's surface, is the most beautiful death in cinema history. Audiences expected zombie rules in space and got philosophy instead. Their loss, your gain. Watch the Blu-ray with the volume maxed. Number 14, Shin Godzilla, 2016. Japan looked at Hollywood's 2014 Godzilla and said, "No thank you, we will fix this." Shin Godzilla opens with a creature crawling onto Tokyo's shores looking like a deformed sea slug with bleeding gills. Government officials hold meetings about meetings. Disaster response teams fill out forms. A junior minister named Yaguchi realizes the old men in charge will never make decisions fast enough. So he builds a shadow cabinet of young outsiders to act first. Hideaki Anno directed this while suffering from depression. He used Godzilla as a metaphor for the 2011 Fukushima nuclear disaster, a slow-moving, unstoppable force that kills thousands while bureaucrats argue about jurisdiction. The monster evolves 4 times on screen, each form more horrifying than the last. The final freeze-frame ending implies humanity won a battle, but the war never ends. This is the smartest kaiju film ever made. It made half of what Godzilla vs. Kong earned worldwide. That is a crime against cinema. Number 13, Okja, 2017. Netflix buried this movie on purpose, not because it is bad, because it made Amazon and Walmart look like villains. Bong Joon-ho directed Okja right before Parasite. The story follows a Korean girl named Mija who raised a genetically engineered super pig in the mountains. The pig weighs 6 tons. It is smarter than most dogs. It loves Mija like family. Then the Morando Corporation arrives to take their property back. Tilda Swinton plays the CEO as a sugar-coated monster who giggles while explaining animal cruelty. Jake Gyllenhaal plays an animal TV host broken by his own complicity. The second half becomes a chase through New York department stores and underground slaughterhouses. The final 20 minutes are unwatchable for anyone who loves animals, not because of gore, because of honest emotional brutality. Critics praised it. Audiences avoided it because the poster looked weird. Parasite fans are still discovering this gem years later. Do not wait any longer. Number 12, Upstream Color, 2013. Shane Carruth made Primer. Then he made this. Primer is complicated. Upstream Color is emotionally incomprehensible. A woman gets abducted and fed a parasitic larvae extracted from a blue orchid. The larvae gives her total suggestibility. She empties her bank account. She signs away her house. She wakes up with no memory and an implanted worm wriggling in her bloodstream. A man on a different part of the city went through the same process years ago. They meet by accident. They realize their memories and emotions are sinking through the parasites inside them. Carruth plays the man. He also directed, wrote, shot, edited, composed the score, and distributed the film himself. The result is experimental sensory abstraction, pigs, Walden passages, sound design that feels like drowning. No Hollywood studio would touch this. It is the most honest film ever made about trauma bonding. You will either call it pretentious nonsense or the best film of the decade. Both answers are correct. Number 11, Repo Men, 2010. Jude Law repossesses artificial hearts for a living. The company sells organs on payment plans. If you miss 3 months, they send Jude Law to cut the organ out of your chest while you are still conscious. Repo Men should have been a cyberpunk click-clack. Instead, it earned a 32 Metascore because audiences could not handle the violence or the satire. Forrest Whitaker plays Law's best friend and rival repo partner. They compete for highest monthly quota while drinking after work like normal. Salesman. The twist comes when Law needs an artificial heart himself after a workplace accident. Suddenly, he is the debtor running from his own colleagues. The film's final act reveals everything was a dying dream inside his failing brain. People hated this ending. They missed the point. The whole story critiques how medical debt turns patients into property. Liev Schreiber plays the villainous CEO who never gets his hands dirty. This came out 5 years before John Oliver covered medical bankruptcy in America. Prescient, brutal, underseen. Number 10, Code 8, 2019. The superhero genre has a problem. Too many capes, too much CGI, too many jokes during apocalypses. Code 8 solves all of this by asking a simple question. What if having powers made you unemployable? In this near-future city, superpowered people are registered tracked and denied housing. They turn to crime because construction crews refuse to hire someone who can accidentally crush a steel beam. Robbie Amell plays a young man who can generate electricity. He needs $10,000 for his dying mother's experimental surgery. A criminal crew led by his cousin, played by Stephen Amell, offers him a deal: one big heist, high risk, no second chances. The twist is that police use powered exoskeletons to hunt powered criminals. Equal force, zero mercy. Code 8 started as a proof-of-concept short that earned millions of views on YouTube. The crowd-funded feature film raised $2 million from fans directly. No studio interference, no franchise obligations. Just gritty street-level science fiction with practical explosions and real bruises. The final chase involves a train carrying liquid oxygen through industrial wastelands. It feels like GTA meets Children of Men. The sequel, Code 8 Part 2, arrived quietly in 2024. Watch both back-to-back. Then ask yourself why Marvel never takes risks like this. Number 9, Boss Level, 2020. Frank Grillo wakes up to a machete, swinging at his neck. He dies. He wakes up again. Same machete. Same morning, same death. Boss Level is Groundhog Day with automatic weapons and a body count over 200. Grillo plays Roy Pulver, a former Special Forces soldier trapped in a time loop where assassins kill him every single day. He learns their patterns, their hiding spots, their favorite breakfast order. Mel Gibson plays the mysterious scientist who built the time machine called the Osiris Spinner. The twist is that Roy's ex-wife, played by Naomi Watts, designed the machine to save her dead son. But the loop expanded beyond her control. Now the entire city resets every morning at sunrise. What makes Boss Level special is the pacing. Director Joe Carnahan shot every action sequence in long takes with minimal cuts. Grillo performed most of his own stunts, including a 15-minute one-shot fight through a hotel lobby. The film was finished in 2019, then delayed indefinitely by the pandemic. Disney sold it to Hulu without marketing. It became a cult hit through word of mouth alone. The ending breaks time loop rules beautifully. Roy earns his escape by becoming the perfect assassin. Not to kill, to prevent the accident that started everything. Action fans rank this alongside The Raid. Sci-fi fans call it the genre's best video game movie without a controller. Number 8, The Lobster, 2015. Yorgos Lanthimos hates happy endings. The Lobster opens with narration about a woman who killed her own brother because he flirted with the wrong person. This is the least strange part of the film. Colin Farrell plays David, a recently divorced man checked into a hotel with one rule: find a romantic partner within 45 days or be turned into an animal of your choice. David picks a lobster because lobsters live for over a century and remain fertile their entire lives. The hotel enforces strict conformity. Singles who fail are hunted in the woods. The woods hold the loners, a rebel faction who live in tents and punish any romantic gesture with mutilation. David falls in love with a short-sighted woman played by Rachel Weisz. They communicate through interpretive hand signals to avoid detection. The film's infamous ending shows David sitting in a diner bathroom. He has gouged his own eyes out to match her blindness, Does he go through with it? The screen cuts to black before his knife moves. No answer, just consequences. The Lobster earned an Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay. It also made half its audience walk out angry and confused. Lanthimos considers that a compliment. The film asks a devastating question. Is enforced loneliness worse than enforced coupling? Most dystopias show government tyranny. This one shows how we tyrannize each other over dinner. Uncomfortable, brilliant, never rewatchable. Number 7, They Cloned Tyrone 2023. Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, Teyonah Parris. A blaxploitation conspiracy thriller about a cloning operation beneath a housing project. They Cloned Tyrone dropped on Netflix the same weekend as Barbenheimer. Nobody noticed. Here is what they missed. Boyega plays Fontaine, a low-level drug dealer who gets shot one night. He wakes up the next morning completely unharmed. No scar. No memory of the hospital. Just a weird taste in his mouth and a feeling that something is wrong. Fox plays Uncle Slick, a pimp with a gold cane and a heart of suspicious motives. Paris plays Yo-Yo, a sex worker who notices pattern anomalies in her neighborhood. Together, they discover a secret laboratory underneath the local fried chicken restaurant, where government scientists clone black citizens and replace them with compliant versions. The satire cuts deep. The clones are programmed to enjoy low wages, high rent, media stereotypes. The real villain is not a man in a suit. It is the system that makes poverty look genetic. Director Joel Taylor cites John Carpenter and Boots Riley as equal influences. The result is a film that shifts tones every 15 minutes from comedy to horror to action to tragedy. The final monologue from Boyega about choosing to be real even when reality hurts will stick in your chest for days. Seek this one out before Netflix buries it deeper. Number 6, Midnight Special, 2016. Jeff Nichols made a Spielberg film disguised as an indie drama. Michael Shannon plays a father on the run with his 8-year-old son, Alton. The boy has powers. He speaks ancient languages. He calculates satellite trajectories in his head. He also glows like a light bulb when the sun hits his eyes. The government wants him. A cult wants him. A massive storm chases him toward an unknown destination on the Texas border. Midnight Special never explains where the powers came from. It never explains why Alton must reach that specific point by sunrise. The film trusts audiences to accept mystery without answers. Joel Edgerton plays the father's best friend, a former state trooper who joined the escape without fully believing in the boy's abilities. Kirsten Dunst plays Alton's mother who surrendered him years ago and now regrets everything. The final act reveals Alton is not human. He is an interdimensional traveler who borrowed human form to experience love before returning home. The ending shows Michael Shannon watching his son dissolve into light on a lonely beach. No explosion, no villain defeat, just a father letting go. Warner Bros. Buried this film because they had no idea how to market quiet science fiction. It cost $18 million. It earned $1 million opening weekend. Jeff Nichols never made another studio film. That is our loss as viewers. Number 5, Snowpiercer, 2013. Class warfare on a train. That pitch sold nobody until Parasite won Best Picture. Then everyone discovered Bong Joon-ho made Snowpiercer first. Chris Evans plays Curtis, a passenger in the tail section, where people eat protein, blocks made from crushed insects. The front of the train holds champagne, sushi, and nightclubs. Between them are 17 cars of escalating violence. The film structure is a video game-level design. Each car has different rules, an axe fight in darkness, a classroom where children learn to worship the train's creator, an aquarium car that becomes a drowning trap. Tilda Swinton plays Mason, the middle manager who lectures tail passengers about their designated positions. She wears false teeth and a fur hat made from her own dead pets. The revolution's secret is that the train's engineer, Wilford, lets revolutions happen. He needs population control. Too many tail passengers and the food runs out. Too few and the engine stops. The final twist reveals Curtis was offered Wilford's position years ago. He refused. Now he eats children in the protein blocks without knowing it. The ending shows 2 children escaping the wrecked train onto a frozen mountainside. A polar bear watches them. Is this hope or extinction? Bong refuses to answer. The Weinstein Company butchered the U.S. release, cutting 40 minutes of character development. The director's cut is the only version that matters. Watch that one. Number 4, Serenity, 2005. Joss Whedon killed his own movie before it released. Not on purpose, he just could not stop talking about Firefly. The TV show that Fox canceled after 11 episodes became a cult phenomenon on DVD. Fans demanded closure. Universal Pictures gave Heaton $39 million to make Serenity. The result is a space western about survivors flying a broken ship through a universe that wants them dead. Nathan Fillion plays Mal Reynolds, a captain who lost a war and never recovered. His crew includes a companion, a pilot, a mechanic, a mercenary, and a fugitive psychic named River. River knows government secrets buried inside her brain. The Alliance sends an assassin called the Operative, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, to retrieve her. The Operative believes he builds a better world through necessary evil. The film's third act reveals the secret. The Alliance created a chemical weapon that pacifies entire planets by making everyone too calm to fight. River witnessed the test. She watched a planet of 30 million people stop moving. The finale throws our heroes into a space battle with no chance of winning. Book the Shepherd dies. Wash the pilot dies. The survivors keep flying because stopping means admitting defeat. Serenity earned $38 million worldwide, just under its budget. Universal declared it a loss. Firefly fans kept buying DVDs. 15 years later, the cast still does convention panels. That is love. That is legacy. That is why Serenity belongs on this list. Number 3. Predestination 2014. The Spierig brothers made the smartest time travel film since Primer. Nobody believed them. Predestination stars Ethan Hawke as a temporal agent chasing a bomber called the Fizzle Bomber through decades of history. The plot folds back on itself so many times that a flowchart cannot untangle it. Sarah Snook plays a character named John Jane who was born intersex. Raised as a girl, transitioned to a man after a traumatic assault, recruited by the agency, sent back in time, fell in love with a younger version of himself, had a baby. The baby grew up to become the agent who recruited her. The bomber is also the agent. The agent is also John Jane. Everyone is the same person across different timelines trying to prevent a future disaster caused by their own existence. The final scene shows the protagonist carrying their own infant self into an orphanage. The baby will grow up to repeat the entire cycle forever. This is not a paradox, it is Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. The film earned $7 million on a $5 million budget. Modest success. But Oscar Isaac was originally cast as John Jane before dropping out. Imagine that timeline. Sarah Snook proved herself so brilliantly that she later won an Emmy for Succession. Predestination is her audition tape. Watch it twice. Bring a notebook. You will still miss something. Number 2, Moon, 2009. Duncan Jones made his debut feature for $5 million. Moon looks like $50 million. Sam Rockwell plays Sam Bell, a helium-3 miner stationed alone on a lunar base for 3 years. His only companion is Gertie, a robot voiced by Kevin Spacey with the soothing monotone of a digital concierge. Sam sees things. He hallucinates a woman in a red dress. He crashes his lunar rover into a mining machine. He wakes up in the base infirmary with a strange scar. Then he finds himself in the same infirmary, another version of himself. Same face, same voice, same memories until a few weeks ago. Moon reveals its secret at the 40-minute mark. Sam Bell is a clone. The original Sam Bell returned to Earth years ago. The company keeps clones on 3-year cycles, then incinerates their bodies when new clones activate. Our Sam discovers dozens of failed versions stored in a freezer room. He helps his replacement clone sabotage the communications array so Earth cannot send the incineration signal. The ending shows 5 Sams working together to launch one of them back to Earth. The survivor exposes the company's crimes. The others remain on the moon, knowing they have weeks to live. Sam Rockwell plays each clone with subtle differences in posture and grief. No CGI doubles, just performance. Moon earned a single Oscar nomination for Best Visual Effects. It deserved acting nominations, cinematography nods, and a Best Picture slot. Watch it alone. In the dark, feel every minute. Number 1, Attack the Block 2011. John Boyega was 17 years old. He had never acted in a film before. Joe Cornish cast him as Moses, the leader of a South London teenage gang who rob a nurse on her way home from work. Then aliens fall from the sky. Giant black hairy creatures with glowing blue teeth. The gang realizes the same nurse lives in their block. She saw their faces. They cannot let her go to the police. But they also cannot let aliens eat her. Attack the Block is a creature feature, a social realist drama, and a coming-of-age story smashed together. The aliens are practical effects designed to look like shadows given teeth. They bleed neon blue. They hunt by smell. They scream like foxes caught in traps. The teenagers defend their tower block with fireworks, baseball bats, and a samurai sword stolen from a neighbor. Moses transforms from antagonist to hero through action, not apology. The final shot shows him standing on a police car with a smoke bomb in his hand. He saved the block. He is still going to juvenile detention. Attack the Block earned $400,000 in the U.S. Sony buried it because American audiences refused subtitles for London accents. Boyega later said this film taught him everything about being a lead. He bought the rights in 2023 to produce a sequel. About time. This is the most underrated sci-fi film of the last 25 years. Full stop. No argument. 20 films, 0 superheroes, 0 sequels, $0 billion franchises. Just ambitious, weird, brave science fiction that audiences ignored and critics dismissed. Save this list. Share this video. Now go watch something you have never heard of. See you in the next one.